Hi, Golden Demons. This is Dr. Graves, and this is our virtual back to school night. And like so many other things this upcoming year, things are going to be different, aren't they? So I just want to take this opportunity to introduce myself to you and to talk a little bit about how our online classes are going to work this semester. So let's see, a little about me. Yes, I really am a doctor. I'm a doctor of music, and yes, I'm teaching science. So how does that work? Well, in my undergraduate at University of Colorado in Boulder, I double majored in music and chemistry. And at that time, I decided to pursue a career in music, and I earned a master's degree and doctorate degree in music performance at the University of Texas at Austin. And my first job was teaching college music at a university outside of Atlanta. My wife and I decided to move to Colorado, and that's when I got hired on at Golden High School. That was 16 years ago. And when I started at Golden, I was the instrumental music director. And I did that for about 7 years, and the last couple of years of it I started teaching some science part-time. It was kind of interesting how things can be kind of cyclical in your life and things can come back at some point. And then I switched over to full-time science. That was about 9 years ago now. I've been teaching science full-time since then. So I'm really looking forward to working with you this year in chemistry or physics online. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about a couple strategies to help you during this period of online learning, remote learning. And one of the things that I've done is set up a space for my own teaching. And so this room here was my music practice room, our music practice room. And I'm dual purposing it now and set up a workspace here where I can be doing all my teaching from and be a little bit quiet, away from the family, away from the dogs when I don't want them here. A view to the outside was really important to me to get some light in. Another choice was down in the basement where we have an office set up, and I didn't want to be down in the dark. And so we set up this space. And so I'd really encourage you, if at all possible, to try to set up a learning space that probably is not in your bedroom, that can be somewhere where you can consistently work and have it be quiet. Now, I know many of you are going to have a sibling or two or three at home also doing remote learning, and houses can be crowded and busy and active. So do your best. Do your best to find a workspace that you can set up to work in consistently, so that you're also not moving your materials around and losing something and realizing, oh gee, I needed that calculator, I needed that book, something like that. Try to keep all your stuff together. And then it's going to be really important to get up and move. Take breaks often, because you're going to be scheduled through classes online, but don't just sit there that whole time. Remember, even in live school, right? We'd have passing periods. We'd get up, we'd move, we'd walk a little bit. So make yourself do that. Get outside as much as you can. Take those brain breaks. Try to make it be as physical as you can. Even if you just stand up for 5 minutes and do some stretches, anything like that is going to help you keep focused during the course of the day. So this is Hank, and this is Winnie, and they're one of my strategies to help get through this remote teaching thing. They're great to, in between classes, do a little pet with them, little animal therapy. At the end of the day, take a nice walk with the dog. So if you have a pet, take advantage of that also. So let's just talk a little bit specifically about how online chemistry is going to work this year. Chemistry is the study of matter and energy. It's a year-long class. Here's some of the topics that we'll be doing through the course of the year. And really, the first semester, we get through atomic theory, trends on the periodic table, chemical bonding formulas, and then chemical reactions. And that'll probably get us through the end of the semester, especially since we're starting a little late. And all these other topics will happen next semester. Your course is going to be managed through Schoology. So I know a lot of the other classes use Google Classroom. All of the science classes use Schoology. So all of your daily activities and assignments, all the documents, all the videos, all the tests and assessments are going to be through Schoology. And one really good way to keep on top of things is there is a mobile app that you can download to your phone, and then notifications would pop up on your phone through Schoology that way, so you can work on that. Flipped Classroom is something I've been using for years, and it's going to work somewhat similarly, even though we're going to be fully remote, where, well, everything is homework because we're not meeting live together, but oftentimes we might group together real quickly at the beginning of our class just to check in, review what I want you to do. Then you're going to work on some stuff independently. Could be watching a lecture, which means you can kind of stop it, back up, take notes on that, do some reading, start gaining familiarity with a new topic, and then we'll come together in a Zoom meeting or something like that and start working through how do we do the problems. And so we'll work on that. Chemistry is usually very hands-on, lab intensive. Well, clearly we don't get to do that this year very much, especially since we're going to be remote. So we're going to try to give you the best we can through that lab experience. We'll do it through videos of labs where you can still collect data and at least analyze the data, even though you're not doing the measurements yourself, or there's lots of simulations we can use. We use a cooperative team planning model, which means Mr. Garochi is our other chemistry teacher. He and I are going to be working very closely, as we always do, and we're going to be pretty close in our remote setting to what's happening in the hybrid setting with the students that are coming in person. And that also means that, you might see some videos that he's done or some that I've done. There'll be kind of a mix of both. We will have a virtual textbook where we'll be assigning readings, but we've got hard copies also. And if you want a hard copy because you're going to have enough screen time, let me know and we'll make arrangements to get a hard copy to you. So students, you have to do the work. You have to do it. I'm here to help you, absolutely, but you've got to do your best. Show up to class, show up prepared, do the work. Be respectful. Be respectful of yourself, of your colleagues, and of me. Always do your best work. Use the resources that are there in Schoology, and don't be afraid to seek out help from me. Ask me. Parents, here's some things you can do to support your students. Ask about class. See how things are going. You also have access as parents to all the materials that are in Schoology. You use your Jeffco Connect login, and you can see everything that the kids see in Schoology. Allow your students to be responsible for their work. That's an important part. This is an upper level science class. We expect students to be doing their own work, taking responsibility for it. But yeah, of course, you can be there to help monitor them, to help make sure, are you keeping up? And if you're not, gee, how can you get help? Let's keep lines of communication open. That's going to be really important in this virtual setting. Best way to contact me is probably by email, and there's my email address right there. So the first couple weeks, we'll be really looking at how Schoology works and how our course is going to work through that. But we'll kind of be working through a lot of that stuff for me. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Feel free to email me at this point, and I'm sure we will be in touch a lot.